Greetings, YouTube. Happy Friday. It is one of those days that you just kind of hope turns into a good weekend. A lot to grade on my plate, probably about 16 hours at least of grading to do. So when I'm not on YouTube and you're wondering, well, what does that Prof. Hoff guy do? Well, he grades a lot. It is literally degrading. And speaking of degrading, we have the unveiled Nexus crystals. So let's jump into this. Now, Nick Fury and Hercules as the front of a banner is pretty dang amazing. Now, I still wish the drop rate was 4.5%. Kabam has slyly made us forget that that was the old drop rate. They just took out all crystals, including the previous daily specials, which weren't Nexus crystals, but they were a 1.5% 6-star improvement on the drop rate. And if you're thinking, well, 1.5%, what's the big deal? Over the course of, especially for people who buy hundreds of crystals, it's a huge deal. So the Cavalier Unveiled pack, by the way, we saw Nexus crystals with the 4.5% too, because then you see people who say, well, it's 3%, but if it's a Nexus crystal, it's really like 9%. No, not the same comparison. All right, Hercules and Nick Fury to start out. Pretty dang amazing. There's my boy Shang-Chi, Diablo, Kingpin, Penny Parker, Cole, Luke Cage, Immortal Hulk, Immortal Abomination, Hitmonkey, Ultron, what appears to be OG Thor, Super Skrull, Jubilee, Rogue, Old Balls, Purgatory Man, Gog, Dragon Man, Man-Thing, the Overseer, My Prom Date, Invisible Woman, Howard, the Suck No More, the Champion, Psylocke, Korg, Nebula, Yondu, and Beast. Now, what's interesting about these is Kabam has really started to increase the amount of these offers, and notice they've done something really unique. Kabam has finally learned from their mistakes, because what they used to do, and maybe they'll bring it back with Disney Plus shows, but they would put this limit to $5 for 2 crystal offer on, but then they would also put like a mythic crystal for $40. And I kept saying for the last year plus, do not buy the mythic crystal. It's crazy how you can spend $10 on 4 Nexus Cavalier crystals, but you could spend $30 or $40 on a mythic crystal plus 6-star shards. Well, I think that strategy really worked, because Kabam has finally learned from their mistakes and is now doing this, by the way, multiple times a week. Not because there's a Disney Plus show, but just because they want to make more microtransaction money. It's just math, right? Let's say you sold 100 mythic bundles at, let's just say, $30 a piece, and you made $3,000. Well, you can sell, even if you just buy one of the Cavalier Unveiled packs, you can sell 5,000 of these, right? And so instead of making $3,000, you're making $25,000, because the price point is so reasonable that it's much easier to justify the $5 value. But I will say this, speaking of $5 value, I have saved money when I can. It's fascinating to me. Now that I buy the daily special every day, I've had people tell me very routinely, Prof, you are now a whale. You buy way too much. Well, I don't buy the early access bundles, haven't all year. That's $50 to $100 twice a month. So that's $100 to $200 worth of savings, because the daily special every day, if you were to buy the daily special every day versus all the early access bundles, you would be spending $50 or at least $45 more on the early access bundles than you were 30 days or 31 days of the daily special. That's kind of crazy to think about, especially when you consider the most important thing when it comes to Paragon players, and that's that you don't actually get Thronebreaker stamps, even though it says Thronebreaker stamps. You get Paragon stamps. And one of the coolest things that Kabam has done is automatically turn Thronebreaker stamps into Paragon stamps if you can hoard them when you become Paragon. And people, like, for some reason, sometimes don't believe me. They think I'm talking about fake news or clickbait or something. And then when they do that, they look at it and they say, oh, Prof was actually right. Now, do they come back and say, sorry, I was slandering you and you actually turned out to be right? No. Now, when you're wrong, they'll bury you. But if you're right, they'll just kind of forget they ever said it. It's human nature, after all. So I still think if you only have $5 or $10 to spend, the Sunday 4 Nexus crystals are a good way to go, plus all the other benefits. But I would buy like today's Thronebreaker Daily Special and tomorrow's Thronebreaker Daily Special. But I'm thankful Kabam has learned from their mistakes, because just putting these offers out is so much better than what they've done before. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Happy Friday.